Good evening, folks. Welcome to Murf's Adventures. I'm Murf. I may not look like much, but I get around. Way back in the summer of 2000, I did an expedition with some friends of mine. This video is about that trip. Now, I could break out a map and a computer, do some cool animation to show you where we went, but frankly, we're just not that sophisticated around here. So instead, in this day and age of interactive video, this is a great opportunity for you to get involved with the show. And here's how. Put down your beer, get your butt up off the sofa, and grab an atlas. Look up Pakistan. Look in the northern part of the country for K2. This will give you an idea of where we went. Greetings from beautiful Skardu, everybody! Pearl of the Northern Territories of Pakistan and gateway to the Karakoram. We're about to leave our luxury accommodations here at the Indus Motel with these 6 jeep loads of equipment and a few jeep loads of bodies, including mine, and head up for the 6-hour ride to Askole. This will be the last motorized leg of our journey and we finally get to start walking. Like the highway here. Yeah, but you know what happened? They do that. Hey folks, some Jeep ride, eh? I think I've permanently scrambled my brains. We reached... Oh, here, hang on a sec. That's better. Anyway, we've reached Askole, and we no longer have to ride in any more buses or Jeeps. Tomorrow we start walking with our porters. 6 days. It'll feel like rest after all that Jeep riding, I'll tell you. I can hardly wait. What a relief. Anyway, this is going to be our camp for tonight. Pretty sporty, huh? Got our porters all standing around staring at us, so I think I'm going to jump in the tent and hide because I really kind of get stage fright with all these other folks looking at me. And this is our liaison officer, Major Ali. Hi, Major.
Hi.
We're going to ask him a few questions about the expedition. So, Major, first of all, where are you from?
Well, Murf, I'm from Peshawar. It's a city in the northwest of Pakistan.
Is that where you live now?
Yeah.
Is that where you're stationed in the army?
I'm stationed right now at Multan. It's a city in between Karachi and Lahore.
How many years have you been in the army?
I've been for almost 12 years in the army. I volunteered for this, and I wanted to come for some expedition for a long time, and I got a chance after 4 or 5 years to come on this expedition. I have never been to this part of my country, and I longed for a long time to be there.
Was it the first expedition you've done then?
Yeah, it was my first expedition.
Yeah, K2, that's a big one to do for your first one.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, kids, wasn't that fun? Let me tell you something. That was the coldest river I've ever been in, and I've been in some cold rivers. It's gonna take me all night to get my fur dried out. My feet are freezing. If we never do that again on this trip, I will be so happy. Good. Cold feet? Yeehaw, folks! Party time in Paiute. 7 groups all crammed into an area big enough for about 2. Well, well. Beautiful scenery. Lots of friendly folks. Good music. What more could you want? Well, except maybe a little alcohol. Maybe even a little female gorilla action, but you know how that goes. Triangle Tower, and lunch for 3 expeditions and 2 trekking groups about halfway to Urticus from Paiu. Quite a few folks, eh? Not exactly the great wilderness experience I thought it was going to be. Hi everybody! I'm in a boss's garden with a boss, our Serdar, and Akbar, our cook. Gonna ask him a few questions. This'll be fun, won't it? So, do you guys always work together?
Yes, almost.
How many expeditions have you done together?
Together we have done about 4 expeditions.
To where?
Broad Peak, Hidden Peak, K2, Skillbroom.
Oh, so you have to go away all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
You miss your families when you go away on these trips?
Yeah, almost.
Do you have kids?
No.
I have 4 kids. I have 2.5.
2.5?
Yes.
Oh, they're fighting right now.
Jama do it.
Well, we've just had our first storm day and we're still 2 days out of base camp. I can't say I'm really broken up about not moving today because I am so sore after the last couple of days trekking that I really needed a rest. Ah, here we are in the fabled Concordia, meeting of the great glaciers here in the Karakoram. Amazing scenery, isn't it? Up behind me, the awesome west face of Gasherbrum 4. Beautiful. Obscured in the clouds. Up this way, of course, the amazing pyramid of K2. Also obscured in the clouds. Well, I guess I'm going to have to get a postcard to see what it really looks like here. But I hear it's great. Well, folks, behind me lies our objective. Pretty impressive, isn't it? I'm told we're about 2 hours out of base camp, but I don't really believe that. After the last few days, I don't believe what anybody tells me about distances and times and all of that. Anyway, pretty soon all our efforts are going to be focused on climbing that impressive beastie behind me. Wow. Well, we finally reached base camp. And it really was just about a 2-hour walk. Surprise, surprise. The porters are all lining up to get paid so they can get out of here and get down to someplace dry before nightfall, but I doubt they will. Before they leave, I thought I'd do a little comparison of their kit versus ours. Over here we have a typical porter's rucksack frame, upon which they're carrying maybe 25 kilos of our gear, plus up to 10 kilos of their own. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Compare this to the kind of packs that we're carrying. State-of-the-art, lightweight Himalayan climbing packs made of lightweight material, with multi-point suspension systems designed to be comfortable and carry about half as much as the porters are carrying. Go figure. Well, normally the payoff of the porters is quite a chaotic event. However, this unusually calm scene is due to the efforts of our liaison officer, Major Ali, and our Sirdar Abbas. We could stay here and watch this, but it will probably go on for hours. And to be honest, I'm fairly bored with this process, and I have a tent platform to put up. Well, it's our first day in base camp, and against the backdrop of weird Pakistani music, our self-propelled meat supply is about to meet its destiny. I don't really feel like watching this since my species is predominantly vegetarian. If you really want to know what's going to happen, I suggest you watch the climactic scene of Apocalypse Now. Then you'll get the general idea. Hi, we're with my old friend Anwar. He's going to be the cook for the trekkers. We'll be leaving in a couple days. And since I'm going up on the mountain, I may not get to say goodbye any later than this, so we're going to ask him a few questions and find out about his village. So Anwar, what village are you from?
I'm from Hushe.
How many people do you think live in Hushe?
Hushe 165 house.
Yeah?
Yes, please.
So a lot of people.
And a lot of people. And 1,200 peoples also in Hushe.
Yeah?
This time in Hushe, electricity and water supply and English schools. There's many things, sir.
Yeah.
Before this and very dusty. This time in cleaning, many tourists coming in Hushe, many expedition and coming in Hushe. Mashibroom 2, K6, K7, Khnamika, and Golden Peak, Farhat Peak, Anwar Peaks, and Leila Peak, Baso Peak, Chinachi Peak, many peaks in Hushe, sir, Mr. Billy.
Yeah. And your whole family lives in Hushe?
Yes, and my family in Hushe.
How many in your family?
My family, big family, sir. This 6 sons, 5 doctors.
So you're a baby machine.
Yes, sir, that's my machine very strong.
Hey kids, Murf here, talking to you from the shadow of Broad Peak, one of the tallest mountains in the world. We're going to pretty much ignore it, however, because we're not here to climb Broad Peak. We're here to climb K2. This is our advanced base camp here. We're going to mount our effort on the Abruzzi Spur from this point. We're sharing with the Korean team that was here before us and has got a little bit of advantage on us on the height on the ridge. This is the ridge here. Our Camp 1 is up there beyond my shoulder, but I'm not going to bother to point it out to you because you'll never see it. Also up there is the summit. Can't see that either from here, but trust me, it's there. And all of our efforts are going to be going towards getting up there in the next few weeks. Over the course of establishing our camp here, we've discovered piles of rubbish left by previous expeditions. As you can see, there are oxygen balls in the pile there. They are extremely heavy. I would never want to carry one of these up the hill. It must completely negate the benefit the oxygen provides you. At last, the boys have arrived.
So happy to see you again, compadre. I have equipment now. You can see, this is me. You know, man. Just what I needed. Some oxygen. Much better now. Okay. It's longer every time. So it's got a big effect on everybody else. So it's one a bit lighter.
And so begins the long slog up to Camp 1. Looks like fun, doesn't it? Up here on the upper part of the slope, the angle has steepened noticeably. These two porters from the Korean expedition have fastened themselves to the fixed line with Jumars and are using it for security. Climbing to Camp 1, we must go through two short, rocky sections. This is the more difficult of the two. Without the benefit of the rope and a Jumar, climbing through here with a heavy load is quite awkward. Yeehaw! Camp 1 at last, and it's only about noon. Up above me, Fabrizio, Yvonne, and Hamish are working to put in Camp 2. They'll be gone most of the day. We, however, get to lounge around the rest of the day. Isn't that great? I'll tell you, my species are really big on lounging, although I have to say, we sort of prefer more tropical surroundings. Hey, it looks like Yvonne is returning from up at Camp 2. Hey Yvonne, how's it going?
Nice to see you!
He sounds pretty tired to me. Well, here's Fabrizio. He's looking a little dragged out. Pretty windy up high. Must have been a long day for him too.
Want to be my gang, my gang, my gang, want to be my gang, oh yeah! Oh, mate! At least we're going slowly for me. Alright, just as well.
Hamish Robertson, helicopter pilot, mountaineer, budding rock star. Don't quit your day job, buddy.
That's the altitude.
Hey, Murf here from Camp 1. We're getting ready to head up to Camp 2 and take a few loads up. That's Fabrizio and Yvonne behind me, starting up the long, weary, interesting trudge.
There yet.
With Chris and Nazu heading down to base camp, Fabrizio, Hamish, Yvonne, and I will take their place at Camp 2. We'll be carrying pretty heavy, so the going's going to be slow and hard. Well, we're about 6,100 meters, and you can see that even with the fixed ropes, it's still quite a lot of hard work getting up this hill. That buttress up there you see Fabrizio climbing is the last major obstacle before reaching the yellow cliff band over my right shoulder. Within that cliff band lies House's Chimney, a very famous and salient feature of this route.
It's not my best day, but I'm going up.
While the boys take a little lunch break, Hamish works his way up to House's Chimney. It splits the rocks right over my head there. You can't exactly see it from here, but trust me, it's there. And the best part is, Camp 2 is only about 15 minutes above that. Wee-haw. There you have it, folks. House's Chimney. Pretty cool, eh? Well, welcome to Camp 2. Camp itself's not much to look at. In fact, it's kind of a junkyard. In fact, it's kind of disgusting. However, you can't beat the view.
stove here. That's nice.
Camp 2. Our glorious deluxe accommodations. Fabrizio and Yvonne are working on the ladder pitch in the pyramid. This is supposed to be one of the more difficult pitches.
What? 2 meters to the anchor. Okay?
Hey folks, we've come down to base camp for a few days of rest. All we do here is lay around and eat, listen to music. These are our favorite guerrilla pastimes, you know. Anyway, since we're here for a while, I thought I'd take you down the moraine to show you a site of local historical significance. The Gilkey Memorial. This most solemn of K2 landmarks was erected to remember Art Gilkey, who was lost despite the most heroic efforts of his friends during the 1953 American expedition. Since then, it's become the spot to remember and honor climbers who have lost their lives here. Seems to me there's an awful lot of plaques here. As you can see, beautiful weather has greeted the arrival of Chris and Nazu to Camp 2. I'm saying this from the shelter of my tent, of course. Well, despite the fact that almost a foot of snow fell on us last night, we've got some pretty decent weather today. So we're gonna head up and fix the pyramid. The famous Black Pyramid. Between 7,000 and 7,400 meters, this is probably the technical crux of the climb. A lot of little vertical steps, interspersed with steep, unconsolidated gullies. Quite the challenge. That's Andy Collins just finishing up the ladder pitch, probably the crux pitch in the pyramid.
What a mess he made of it as well. Never seen any thrutching like it. It's a lot of work, man. For hard men, not pussies like me.
Well, things were looking pretty good last week after Chris and Nazu got Camp 3 in, but since then the weather's been crap. Andy Collins and I came up here to 2 and yet another sucker hole. I'm getting a little burnt out on this. It usually means descending in heinous weather, like today. Check it out, folks, blue skies. We boogied up here to Camp 2 yesterday all the way from base camp. Big day, but it looks like we have a weather window. We're going to try to cover as much ground as we can. Since the Camp Up 3 was destroyed during this last storm series, we've got to carry everything with us. That means we'll be carrying heavy, but it's worth it if we have a shot at the summit. Here we are in our bibbler at Camp 3, 7,400 meters, me and Andy freezing our little butts off, despite the fact I'm wearing this fur coat. We're just brewing up. Tomorrow we hope to head up to Camp 4 if the weather holds. Nice view we just had, isn't it? Check it out! Camp 3 at last! Despite the fact that it's more plush than Camp 2, we only spent last night here. We're heading up to Camp 4 right now. In our optimism, we're going to take a shot at the summit tomorrow as long as this good weather's holding. That's the top of the shoulder up there. Camp 4 is up there somewhere. Looks like a long slog to me. At last, Camp 4. 4 full-size adults are going to sleep in that tent, and me. Beautiful views up here. Of course, we're not going to spend much time looking at them because we are heading up there. That is the summit pyramid. The bottleneck is a little narrow bit of snow. It goes right under those seracs, goes left, and up the snowfield to that dome on the top. Far out. Well, here we are about to enter the bottleneck, the salient feature on our summit day here at K2. It's somewhat steep, but the fact that it's well over 8,000 meters doesn't make it any easier. Well, there it is at last, beginning of the summit ridge. A little bit of a stack up going on. Can't imagine why with a perfect day like this. Well, we've got members of Korean team, Japanese team, and our own very own international team. Hey folks, that's the top right behind us, about 20 feet away. We're going to stroll up there in a sec, give you a panoramic view, 8,611 meters. But the only one who hung out long enough for us to get here was Andy Evans. So we'll let him have a say here, a few words, and then let him get out of here because it's chilly up here. Go ahead, Andy.
Well, I'm really proud to have made the second Canadian ascent of K2. And I got a message from Christine Haberl, the widow of Jim Haberl, and she told me to make sure I thought of Jim and Dan Culver when I was up here. They're both dead now, and I sure did, and it got me choked up, and it's been very emotional up here. I've wanted to climb K2 for 20 years, and it happened today, and it's an unbelievable feeling to share with my friends after 51 days working together. And now all I want to do is get down safely and get back home. So, woo! We did it. cried at Everest too. 'Cause you realize how lucky you are.
Yeah.
Why me?
Pretty spectacular, isn't it? This is what the world looks like from the second highest point on the planet, top of K2. Taken us a long time to get here, years and years. And on this trip, 50 days with the weather, but we finally made it. We're not going to dawdle though, because it's pretty cold and it's difficult climbing down. So here's a few words from Billy, then we're out of here.
Hi, I'm Billy.
Bye. A little post-summit day fitness report. The boys.
Absolutely fucked. All we want to do is go down and hope we have the juice to carry our packs downhill. Go home.
How'd Murf survive the night?
I think he's doing okay. He's got that built-in fur coat thing going on.
Oh.
You know, it's August 1st today and we're in a blizzard. There's so many things I could be doing right now besides this. Like golfing. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, you'd have to get a whole new wardrobe.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have to carry a 60-pound pack either.
Yeah.
Only a little set of golf clubs. And I could wear such neat clothes too.
Anyway, before everybody starts breaking apart base camp and going home, I'd like to point out to all you potential sponsors and board members of the Alpine Club that I believe this to be the first 6-inch gorilla in a Hawaiian shirt ascent of K2. And I'm not exactly morally opposed to a little commercial exploitation of that, if you know what I mean. A sad moment arrives. Half the team is going home. The sad bit is that we're not going with them. We still have to pull stuff off the hill. So we wish them luck and safe journey. Well folks, there it is, our swan song. As Gary and I put away the last tent here at Camp 2, we bid a fond farewell to this putrid place. Got anything profound to say, Gary?
Oh, good riddance. Hope I don't get sick when I go down this time.
Despite the best efforts of the mountain to keep us here with yet another storm, we've decided to bug out. We've pretty much had it with this place. We'd like to go someplace warm and green.
Padre, vamos a casa. We're going home. Great. Woo!
Been here
This
all
is it,
night.
folks. We're riding now. Leaving Hushay in a Jeep. I'm so happy not to be walking. This pretty much makes the end of our trip, on foot anyway. Now we're off to Kane for lunch.
Yeah, chicken lunch.
I'm off the town.